National Assembly, the Honorable Raffle Trotman, on Thursday, February 7, 2013, ruled that the Honorable Clement Rohi, Minister of Home Affairs, as a member of the National Assembly, can speak on any matter in the House. The Speaker's ruling came after lengthy consultation with several authorities on the ongoing saga pertaining to whether Minister Rohi can address the National Assembly. Additionally, the Speaker ceded to Minister Rohi's indication to address the House in wake of the recent events that impacted on the crime situation in Guyana.
Since we last met, we've had a spate of robberies, rapes, killings, executions, an accident last Sunday. Yesterday, I believe one media house described the day as Bloody Wednesday. On arrival here this afternoon, it was indicated to me that Mr. Rohi wishes to speak to the current situation. And I have spoken with members of the House on both sides. And after careful consideration and given all that is happening, I wish to invite Mr. Rohi to address the House on the matter of the current spate of crimes in this country.
Mr. Speaker.
Point of order. Yes, sir. There's a point of order on the floor. I'll hear it.
Mr. Speaker, I rise on a point of order on this matter. Mr. Speaker, there are 3 armed robberies in this country every day under the stewardship of the present Minister of Home Affairs. If we allow them to speak today, they'll be speaking all the time.
The point of order, please. The point of order.
Mr. Speaker, this National Assembly, over the last 6 months, wrestled with this issue. The National Assembly has resolved. The Speaker himself has determined. The courts have deliberated. If we do not stand up for something, we'll fall for anything, Mr. Speaker. We're all aware of the security situation in this country, and we ask you today, Mr. Speaker, to stand by your own ruling and to stand by the resolution, of this National Assembly. And if there's a question, it should be put to this National Assembly.
Thank you. Honourable members, I did give a ruling which I followed up with a letter to leaders of the House, which was to the effect that I thought that the issue surrounding the powers of this Assembly to sanction or to prevent a member, whether he or she be a minister or not, from speaking should be referred to the Committee of Privileges. During that time, I canvassed the views of experts, constitutional and parliamentary, the world over. I also had legal advice and counsel given to me, and I exercised my own deliberate considerations and judgment on the matter. During that time as well, there was a ruling by the Chief Justice of Guyana on the issue. I thereafter, believing that the issues had been sufficiently crystallized, convened a meeting of the Privileges Committee, at which meeting both members of both sides of the House said that they wish not to have this issue deliberated, but let the courts continue. That is all well and good. I am still the Speaker of the National Assembly of Guyana, and I believe that if the person who is a member wishes to speak on the spate of crimes, I will be allowing it this afternoon. Go ahead.
Can I speak? Mr. Speaker, if it please you, on a point of order. On a point of order. Mr. Speaker, we respect your authority. We respect your authority. But we recognize even you, sir. Even you, sir. Your authority, you know, and you know that too, sir, must be exercised judiciously. But we want to be able, sir, that when you make a decision and to guide us, that we could rest assured that you will not overnight recede from your decision. And what I'm saying, What I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, I don't wish to use language that you could interpret that I'm being disrespectful, because I have no wish to be disrespectful.
What is your point of order, though, Mr. Williams?
I just wish to say this, Mr. Speaker. I just wish to say this, that subsequent to your meeting with us in that committee, with respect to the, sir, I don't know if I could be protected.
Yeah, I'd like to hear Mr. Williams, please.
Subsequent to our meeting with you, sir, in the committee room, I wish to inform this court, you would be called PC of Parliament. Yes. Sir, you would recall that the Honorable Attorney General told you that in his opinion, the Chief Justice's decision on GAG, Mr. Roy. I wish to inform this Honorable House that I received a notice this week for that matter to be continued on Monday the 13th at 1:30 p.m., where the Honorable Attorney General has agreed that he is not satisfied with the decision of the Honorable Chief Justice, and he will continue the hearing before him of the motion that he had filed on that limited kinship point that was left after our summons struck out his motion.
The point of order, Mr.
So what I'm saying, Your Honor, is that Your Honor could not, Mr. Speaker, you could not rely on the intimation made to you by the Honorable Attorney General at that meeting weeks ago, because he is not satisfied with the decision of the Chief Justice, and he has asked the Honorable Chief Justice to continue hearing his motion. And so we're saying in that light, sir, you would have been deceived weeks ago, but the fact, and misled. So the fact that he's asking to continue the hearing in the matter before the Honorable Chief Justice means that he's not satisfied with this decision. And we are asking you, sir.
Noted.
And we ask you, sir, in that light, to stick with your decision that you would abide the ruling of this matter in the courts of law.
Honourable members, I will not entertain any more points of order. My decision stands. My decision is not overnight, but in the peculiar circumstances, I invite Mr. Roy to speak.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for giving me the floor and allowing me to break the silence and to assert my constitutional right to speak in this honorable House. I do agree with you, Mr. Speaker, that over the past few days there have been indeed certain events that impact on the crime situation in Guyana. But I'd like to recall, Mr. Speaker, that on the 31st of December 2012, I announced a series of reforms with respect to the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Prison Service, the Guyana Fire Service, and the Ministry of Home Affairs. These reforms are based on the passage in Cabinet of strategic and implementation plans for the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Prison Service, and the Ministry of Home Affairs. The strategic plan for the Guyana Fire Service is currently being formulated. Mr. Speaker, immediately after the announcement was made, the ministry posted the 3 strategic plans on its website for all to see and to study. Thus far, in keeping with the strategic plan for the Guyana Police Force, advertisements have been placed in the media for the 10 positions to establish a strategic management unit at the headquarters of the Guyana Police Force. The Ministry of Home Affairs has received several applications. A panel is to be established to examine and select the most suitably qualified persons to these positions. In addition, Mr. Speaker, the United Kingdom-based Capita Simons Consultancy is currently in our country engaging in a scoping exercise in respect of the 4 areas for which they have been contracted, namely the administration of the police force, succession planning within the force, integrity and probity within the force, and public relations and communications. We have already received an inception report which has been accepted, save for a few amendments. The acceptance of the inception report will see the commencement of work to determine the specific areas of activities to be implemented in the aforementioned 4 areas. Mr. Speaker, the name change for the Guyana Police Force to the Guyana Police Service will consummate all the reforms envisaged, effectively making the name change a matter of substance rather than one of cosmetic and superficial nature. As regards the Ministry of Home Affairs, steps are now underway to implement the strategic plan with the establishment of a strategic implementation unit, whose responsibility will be to oversee, monitor and evaluate the implementation of the ministry's strategic plan. The same modus operandi will apply in respect to the Guyana Prison Service. However, in this case, a strategic planning committee will be established to perform similar functions vis-à-vis the implementation of the strategic plan for the prison service. Discussions in respect to a name change for the Guyana Prison Service to a correctional service are ongoing. Last but not least, Mr. Speaker, the Guyana Fire Service will undergo fundamental changes with the formulation of a new strategic plan that will see one of its principal features, the effective transformation to a fire and rescue service. It is apposite to note that, in the meanwhile, the Guyana Fire Service has already rolled out its hinterland fire and rescue service strategy with the establishment of branches and auxiliary services at Madia and Lethem, and in a few months, similar services will be established at Kokwani, Mabaruma, and Port Kaituma. In the meantime, Mr. Speaker, since the announcement, the strategic plans have been welcomed by the Private Sector Commission, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, the mining community, the Federation of India, Mr. Speaker.